foreperson, is this the verdict of each and every one of your members?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Verdict reads as follows. As to count one, we, the jury, find the defendant, James Addie, guilty of murder in the first degree as submitted in instruction number 6. Verdict reads as follows. As to count two, we, the jury, find the defendant, James Addie, guilty of armed criminal action as submitted in instruction number 8.
Has his head down. I don't think that's down in disbelief. I think it's down in absolute shame for what he did to Molly, to his wife, to his daughter, to his family, to Molly's family, Molly's parents, dying, brokenhearted. Unbelievable. And Molly's child as well. Lost a mother. I want to bring in Forrest Gossett, editor, Salt River Journal, joining us tonight. First of all, your reaction to what happened today, this verdict.
Well, based on just as a reporter watching the evidence, it can go either way, but I can't say I was surprised when I was watching it. The one thing that we were not able to see as reporters, we weren't able to get in the courtroom. One of your producers was. So I'm used to when I cover a court case, looking at the jury, seeing their reactions. We had none of that. So the only thing we had to go on, it was like listening to it on radio for that matter. But the evidence seemed pretty strong to me. But again, you never know with a jury.
You don't know. Give us some perspective. We cover trials all around the country. I'll cover a case, a murder trial in California. I'll be out there for 2 months. And here we are. It's just a matter of days. Is this the normal speed of trials in Missouri that you're used to covering?
Well, I've been here in Monroe County. I worked in bigger cities, so my wife and I moved here to kind of a retirement job, running a newspaper 80 hours a week. But bottom line is that the court system here, to me, seems very efficient. Tally Smith, the lead prosecutor, I've known Tally now for 4 years. She's in the middle of her third term, and I've never seen anyone more organized as an attorney. There's probably someone out there who may be offended by that, but she's extraordinarily organized. She's efficient. She doesn't like to waste the time of the court or of jurors, and they really did get to the point. I mean, look at how many witnesses they got through day one, and it was a very efficient process. So I'm not surprised it went as quickly as it did. There's not that many murder trials here. I think the last one Tally did was about 3 years ago in Fulton, and it too took about 4 days.
Okay, and I've seen justice doled out different ways around the country. But you're right, a lot of evidence, a lot of witnesses, and some dramatic moments in this case. Now, something else that's interesting here, the first-degree murder charge has an automatic sentence, but the armed criminal action, it was up to the jury. Let's take a listen to what they did.
Stand, please. Fix the court. Verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, having found the defendant, James Addie, guilty of armed criminal action, assess and declare the punishment for armed criminal action at imprisonment for a term of 20 years, signed by the foreperson. Do you desire the jury to be polled?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. That concludes today's proceedings.
All right, so far as the sentence, though, the official sentencing will take place down the road, but that's going to be life without parole. This 20 years is more or less the icing on the cake, so to speak.
Well, it's in addition. Who knows how the judge will do it, if he'll say it's concurrent or consecutive. Either way, if you have life without parole, what's the difference? But I think going into that, the jury, as I understand the instructions, had to give him a minimum of 3 years on that. So they multiply that almost sevenfold. And just as an observer, watching the case, I think the two victim impact statements from Mr. Watson and from Declan were extraordinary. Absolutely, both of them riveting. And how and I'm sitting there listening, I'm going, wow. And I'm sure the jury thought the same thing. Without passing judgment, they were just very effective statements. I mean, I'm sure you'll replay those several times tonight, but I don't know how it could have been more dramatic. are more effective.
And that's what we're going to do right now. Here's the prosecutor reading the letter from Molly's son.
Today I was asked to write this letter, and I wasn't sure what to say until now. You took one of the most important people in my life away from me. She was an amazing, smart, and beautiful person. And sure, she wasn't a perfect person, but nobody is perfect. And she wasn't a perfect mom, but being a mom isn't about being perfect. It's about making good decisions for your child, and that's what she did. And I believe she only ever made one real wrong decision, which was believing in and trusting you. And you just kept lying to everyone around you. The only reason she believed you was because she loved you and looked past your flaws and was probably willing to walk to the end of the earth for you. And you couldn't be a little bit honest with her or anyone for that matter.
Powerful, Forrest. I mean, wow. It moves you in many different ways, and it makes very real what this case was about. It was about a woman who trusted someone, and that's the mistake she made. She trusted this guy, and this guy, as the jury told us, lied to her again, and then ultimately took her life and now destroys the life of this this boy, and it's an incredible. Do you have any idea what his what was his end game here? Like, that's the part I don't understand. Is you commit the murder, investigators are going to uncover everything. So it's not like you're getting rid of your secret life by committing this murder.
I wouldn't even pretend to try to answer that one. I don't know how to put my head into his head. It's something completely alien to most of us. But I think that, his attorney was, in his closing argument, was trying to say, look, the police honed in him because of the adultery. He's not on trial for adultery. And Catherine Dolan, the assistant attorney general, said, no, he's not on trial for adultery, but make no mistake, the adultery led to the murder, and his lies led to him sitting in that chair. I think that was a pretty powerful statement.
Absolutely. Let's listen to Molly's brother, who also spoke today.
Molly would do anything for her son. She loved him to the moon and back. He was a special needs baby. He was born a preemie, and Molly did everything she could to help with his disability, and just support him in everything. And he's turned out he's as smart as a tack. The kid, he has his mother's brains. You couldn't ask for a better kid.
And I think we heard that from the letter that he wrote that was read by the prosecutor. He's a special kid. So much tragedy for this family, Forrest. The more we learn, the parents, brokenhearted, they end up passing away before they get a sense of justice here, and having to bury their child and knowing that she was murdered the way she was and betrayed the way she was. That is a tough burden for a family.
Well, I'm sure at some point tonight you'll probably run Mr. Watson's his short statement he made in the courtroom, the victim impact statement. But he started out by saying Molly was my friend, my sister, and it went on from there. It was, again, a very succinct but very powerful statement. And at one point he called Mr. Addie a monster. Very powerful words.
You know what always impresses me, and I don't know if you've had the same experience in covering cases like this, how amazing some of these families are, how they're able to comport themselves and restrain themselves when they're sometimes in the same room with the person who killed their loved one, and are able to rise above it. And I saw that today from the letters that were written, the statements that were made. Incredibly impressive. I don't know how victims' families do it, Forrest.
I don't either, and I think you have to be in the situation to know it. But I've seen it, like you, time and again. The decorum is just there. They're cool. They're calm. You can tell inside they're hurting, and not just this case, but others. But I think that at the end of the day, just speculation. But you have to know that the jury wants you to be objective and tell them what you think. And and again, in this case, for this armed criminal action, 20 years is a pretty stiff sentence. So I think the jury paid a lot of attention to those victim impact statements.
Absolutely. I want to play Heather Cummings. This is James Addie's sister. Let's listen to what she had to say today.
Can you tell us how he was as a brother to you?
Oh, he was a great brother. He was amazing. I mean, the kind of person that I always wanted to be around.
Was there a point in time when you guys, I know you have a big age difference, was there a point in your life when you guys got particularly close or started getting closer?
After our mother passed away in 2002.
Okay. So how old would you have been then?
I was 19. He was very supportive when I got divorced. He was always a great ear to listen to and a shoulder to cry on.
And even though he's been confined for several years now, is he still reliable and supportive?
He was my personal mechanic. He taught me a lot about taking care of things for myself when I didn't have anybody else.
Difficult for her. She's got to come into court and talk about her brother, who's now a convicted murderer. I mean, what a place to put her in as well. But she came in to speak up for her brother, which brings us back to that point that you made that I think is so significant for us, that we can't get inside his mind. We can't even pretend to get inside. Like, how does someone who could be a good brother, someone who could be a shoulder to lean on, someone who could do, a whole list of normal good things, end up in the mess that he created, these web of deceit that ends up in murder? And I don't think we'll ever understand it. I think the only way we could is if he came out and spoke, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Do you, Forrest?
Well, no, you may recall when they were going to do the exam for him to be sentenced, that his lawyer said he's going to continue to maintain his right of silence. So he's obviously in advance of them obviously trying for a new trial. But I think telling is the people who lived around the Addies. Just on a personal note, I'm in my Rotary Club. There are 2 or 3 people who live within a few miles of him, which is pretty close in that part of the county. And like you said, none of them would have expected something like this. That it was a totally different person, a different persona. So, and to a person, people are absolutely aching for the family, both families. I mean, this is a tragedy all around.
Absolutely. Forrest, I want you to wrap things up for us. So looking at this case, give me the impact that a story like this, a trial like this, betrayal like this, ultimately you think could have on a community. Because it's a small community. I mean, everyone's going to be talking about this.
Well, yeah, but I think that, keeping it in perspective, I think the community I think more than anything, this is a sympathetic community. It's a community that's close-knit. People do know each other. And I think more than anything, there is great empathy and sympathy for both families. I think the impact will be that people will still have that. They'll still be trusting. I don't think it's going to make people around here any more cynical, because they still believe we live in a really safe community. And again, it's an anomaly. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But and they'll talk about it a while. But I think, again, I come back to, I think it's more sympathy and empathy for all the parties involved, because this one betrayal, this one double life. Look at all the lives all the lives that have been challenged, and not just the families, but Emma Addie had lots of friends in school. So did Melanie Addie, had friends around. So it is a betrayal of a lot of people.
Forrest Gossett, editor of the Salt Lake River Journal. That's your retirement job, 80 hours a week. Thank you so much for helping us understand this and giving us a much better inside perspective. Thanks so much, Forrest.
Thank you, sir.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Cal City toddlers. Orrin and Orson, 3 and 4, disappeared in December. Their parents spoke publicly. We've got the video of it tonight. Susan Constantine, body language expert, is going to take a look at the body language of mom and dad and tell us what observations she has. That is next.